Hey there, everybody. My name is Jason Thompson. Thank you for joining us. If whoever is going to join, I'm here to talk to a dear friend of mine, Michelle, about her amazing journey that she has been going through. She has a very rare disease that I want to talk to her about, and she's really looking forward to the opportunity to. Oh, there she is. View request. Oh, hey everybody. Hey Mel. I think she just pops in here. There she is. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
It worked.
Oh gosh, yeah. My first live. Thank God it's with you. I feel comfortable.
With me, you feel comfortable?
Yeah.
A little bit of backstory on Michelle and I. We know each other from Hollywood back in the day, probably like what 25 years ago now almost. Hey, it's been a long time. Some people on here might remember my big old Great Dane better. Whenever I was out of town, Michelle was his mother. She took very good care of him for many, many years. He was our best buddy. So that's how we
He
kind of
was.
originally kind of met, how we spent a lot of time together. And then how many years ago did you leave Los Angeles? I can't remember now. It's probably been what,
It's
10, 15?
it's been like 5 to 7 years.
That's it?
Yeah, yeah. It seems a lot longer. I've
Yeah.
been back a few times to take care of Vetter,
Yeah.
and it seems like that was so long ago. So it seems like it's been longer.
It feels like it's been a lot longer for you, I'm sure. So we're here today to just kind of talk a little bit about your disease and try and bring a little bit of awareness to what you've been going through and to maybe try and somewhat normalize as much as you can what you deal with on a daily basis because
Hmm.
you're not the only one. Although it is
Hmm.
rare, you're not the only one. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what this disease you have and take us through maybe how you first learned about it and what your daily life is like.
Um, well, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2017. I went into that thinking, first of all, my neurosurgeons downplayed it like it was routine. So I took that as like, okay, I've had surgeries before. I've never had complications. They told me I might lose my hearing in my left ear. I did. Um, I woke up in intense pain, pain that I would never want anyone to ever go through. As I was on my healing journey, I kept in close contact with my neurosurgeon and his team. And basically, they said everything that I was experiencing was normal. Now, what I was experiencing was I couldn't feel the left side of my face. I could not feel my teeth. I could not feel my tongue. I was feeling electrocution. My face was being electrocuted. I felt like the muscles were being ripped off of my face. Now, they told me this was normal. So here I am taking that as word and feeling hopeful towards the future, thinking that one day I'm just going to wake up and my cranial nerve, it's the fifth cranial nerve, will be healed like a miracle. Um, that never happened. I, to this day, I still can't feel the left side of my face. I still have every day, I'm dealing with things like feeling like, when you bump your elbow or your foot falls asleep.
Mm.
That's what I feel every day, constantly. It never stops. And then I will get other pains also. So there is trigeminal neuralgia 1,
Right.
trigeminal neuralgia 2, and there's something also called anesthesia dolorosa. I have all three. Um, So TN1 means you get the electrocution, you get all those sharp pains, but you sometimes will go into remission. TN2 is a lesser version of TN1, but I unfortunately have both, in addition to anesthesia dolorosa, which is even more uncommon, which means that I can't feel the left side of my face.
So
So
you have not gone into any sort of remission from day one since you woke up
never.
from that surgery. You've never been in any sort of remission. You've constantly been in pain.
Constantly. Like as we're talking now, I can't, obviously, I can't feel the left side of my face, but I feel tingling all around my eye. It feels like my left eyeball is being pushed out of its socket. And it feels like just an extreme tightening of the muscle, the muscles on the left side of my face. I can't, it's hard for people who don't have this. That's why I wanted to share with you what I go through, because I know that there are other people that have this that might not be diagnosed, and they might be thinking like, what do I have, a toothache? What's going on? Like, what's happening to me? And this is something that they should bring to their provider. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor, so you take from that what you will, but this, there is a community. We're small because it is rare, but this is happening. So your coworker might have it. I met a woman the other night that works nights to provide for her daughters. She works with TN. I just don't know how she does it at night, like in that extreme pain.
Can it
So
from something like, if somebody does have like what they might think is a toothache, does it progress? Like, is that something that it might start that way and progress into something else, and or how do you even look into this if you are feeling something?
well, a lot of doctors misdiagnosis. They, first of all, when you go to the dentist, I don't think anybody has ever been told that when they have a tooth pulled or dental work done, that this can be an after effect, that you can come out of that with trigeminal neuralgia.
Is that right? Wow.
Because your fifth cranial nerve, there are three branches that branch out right around your ear. So you go to V1, V2, and V3. And so if you have dental work done, you can actually come out of that with trigeminal neuralgia. And dentists don't ever, I was never told, and I've had teeth pulled because of what happened to me in surgery. So I was like, that dentist never told me that. There are so many things that doctors and dentists leave out, that they don't tell you what the potential outcomes are.
Do you think that because it's a rare thing, that it's just worth commenting on because it's so rare, the potential of this?
Yeah, it is so rare, but it does happen. And I hope that what we're doing reaches people so that they know to go in and say to their dentist or say to their doctor, this is what I'm experiencing. Is this potentially TN? Or when they go in for dental work, they know to say, what's the potential of this affecting my fifth cranial nerve and having TN? And even if you have sinus surgery, that goes right into where everything connects. So even that has the potential. So there's so many things that could lead to this. I was unfortunate where my tumor, where it was placed, was in a horrific location. It was pressing on my brainstem. It wrapped around a major artery. It affected 3 or 4 cranial nerves. So in addition to trigeminal neuralgia, anesthesia dolorosa, I'm deaf, and I also have severe tinnitus. So it's kind of contradictory. It doesn't make sense. Like, how can you be deaf, but you still have a ringing in your ear? So how do you hear that? And then also on your face, how can you be numb and still be in pain? So it's a weird phenomena that just happens where the connection on the cranial nerve isn't properly connected and making the right connections, where it's misreading what's happening.
Mm.
So it's I could have used, when you were on General Hospital, I could have used you as my neurosurgeon. You probably would have done a better job than my original team, let me tell you that.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, my sister-in-law is a pediatric neurosurgeon, and I think that is as scary as it is that things like this can happen. I think that is probably the fear for a lot of people, that things can happen. I mean, I know that
Mm-hmm.
they're still human too. Mistakes are made. Unfortunately, there is ramifications to those mistakes that people live with for the rest of their life. I think, like, what is the prognosis for you right now? Is what? How like what is your hope for the future of
Yeah.
you, but for other people?
Mm-hmm.
What gets you through those days where it feels like it's a little bit hopeless? What is it?
Um, well, just to give you a little bit of an idea what my day is like. So when I wake up, um, I'm numb, but I don't feel anything. So I'm like, dear God, please, please let it be like I feel the pressure. The pressure never goes away, and the pulling never goes away. But I've normalized that, which is crazy to think. So, but as I wake up and I start doing things, the nerve starts to wake up and everything starts to happen. And I'm like, dear God, just please make it be a tolerable pain day. That's all I ask anymore, is just tolerable pain to get me through. Um, Knock on wood, I have a lot of tolerable pain days. Recently, I have not. And
Mm.
I don't like to really reach out to my friends or my family, because I don't want to be that person that is like, oh, poor me. And I don't want that. I just need support, but I don't want to ask for it because I also don't want to burden them with what I'm going through and how difficult it is.
Mm.
And I know that they are helpless. So
I think that might be difficult too, because for you it's been such a long time. Maybe it might feel easier for someone to reach out if you feel like, you're gonna go through something for a couple weeks, but this is not a couple weeks for you. So for the feeling of reaching out to people all the time when it's so constant,
yeah.
or the feeling of burdening someone constantly, you know what it's like to go through something that never really goes away. So I would imagine that would be very daunting to try and put that pressure on someone else to always be there for you. Is that part of why you were trying to build this community of like-minded and like few people that are going through similar things that you, so you can be there for each other?
Yeah, that's exactly why I started my rare on Instagram, rare disease warrior. There is a community of people that have the same condition that I have, or similar. Um, we're all chronic pain patients,
Mm.
and we rely on each other to get through those tough days. I don't want to discount the support that I've gotten from my friends and my family and my coworkers. Um, they've been amazing, but like I said, I don't want to burden them with the everyday.
Mm.
And I don't know if they honestly know how severe it is, because I downplay it. Um, you touched on a little bit about like what's the future hold, and I just wanted to backtrack a little bit because there are drugs available that many of us take. We don't know if they're working. Many of them don't, but we take them just in case it's reducing the pain, even if it's a minute amount, to help us just function.
Mm.
there is medical marijuana, which should be legal in every state, and we shouldn't have to go through hoops. It's legal in New Jersey, but I would have to see a doctor out of network who would charge $300, and then I would have to register with the state. Like, they make it this process. So it shouldn't have to be like that. I should be able to try medical marijuana if it would get me off all of these other drugs.
Absolutely.
There are some surgeries. One I would like to discuss briefly is neurostimulation, which I've been in contact with one of my neurosurgeons about recently, but they run wires from right in front of your ear where the fifth cranial nerve comes out, and they run wires underneath my skin through my forehead to my V2 and V3 in hopes of, and they attach it to a transmitter, which I would take home and adjust. And it would hopefully not stop the pain, but reduce it. That's something that I'm considering. That's something that I know that others in the community are trying. There's also something called deep brain stimulation, but that's crazy, and it's not authorized. It's not approved by the FDA for treatment of TN or AD. So the doctors would have to fight for that. That would involve brain surgery. They would make a hole, go down into the cortex while you're awake, and attach electrodes to your cranial nerve to see what part of the cranial nerve it might turn off the pain. That is something that I've considered, but that's a last resort. And then there's microvascular decompression, MVD. That is when I am not a candidate for that, because my fifth cranial nerve does not press up against an artery. With some people, that's the cause of it, whereas their cranial nerve presses against their artery, and every time the blood passes through the artery and beeps, for lack of a better word, it sends an impulse to the nerve and upsets the nerve. So that triggers TN. So some patients can get that, and that is helpful. Sometimes they're cured, sometimes it's temporary. So I just wanted to touch on those. But I want to keep my screen up because I think we touched on what my day is like when I wake up, and I just don't know. I don't know. As with every TM patient, they don't know what the day is going to hold. I'm fortunate enough to work from home. If I had to work in an office, I would not be able to return to work. I would have to go on permanent medical disability. I have not traveled. I traveled, actually, let me backtrack. I traveled a few times to Washington, but since then, that was years ago. That was pre-COVID. I have not traveled since then. It's a very isolating condition because you just don't want to leave the house. Unfortunately, it's like every single thing you do is like a milestone. Like, I went to my friend's house a few months ago. I was like, I did this. Like, things that were commonplace are now milestones. I'm like, okay, I've got this. I can do this. I have to amp myself up for every day to convince myself I can do this. I'm healing. I'm going to be okay. I don't have a choice. This is what I have, and I don't have a choice. I could just do nothing, but that's not me. So that's why I'm choosing to do a live with you, to hopefully raise awareness, and I'll let people know that there is a community that they can find us on Instagram. And I hope they do. I hope they reach out, because everyone's very welcoming. and we're all going through the same struggles. And I don't want to downplay anyone else's struggles in real life. Just like, just because this was the hand I was dealt, I know everyone has their own personal struggles.
Hmm.
And that doesn't mean that mine outweigh yours. I might have a little bit heavier, but everyone has their struggles. And just to get through the day, I applaud everyone because life is not easy. And every day you get thrown something else where you just like something else. So we all get it, but you know, mine is a little different.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And, I mean, like you said, life is challenging. I think that we like to try and make choices where we're not just enduring life, that we have moments of enjoying life as well. And that sounds like it can be a little bit difficult for you and other people that are going through these kind of, whether it's a disease or whatever. We all have it. I think what sounds really difficult, me as a listening to you as a human being, as a friend, is just how constant it is. And so I applaud you for even making the small choices of walking outside and going down the street to your friends. That's that sounds, even that seems like something that is so simple for us to do, but it's not for you.
Yeah.
And,
Like even showering,
yeah.
like washing my hair. A lot of us in the community don't like to shower or wash your hair. And I know that sounds gross, but there's a reason for it. And it's because it triggers pain.
Mm.
And anything like if it touches your face, water, sometimes brushing your teeth, you don't know what's going to set off the trigger, what's going to
Right.
set off the pain. And especially for me, I don't like water touching my head anymore because I can't feel the left side of my head. So
Mm.
it's a very awkward feeling. And I also um, have balance issues still. So when I'm in the shower, it's like nerve wracking. So I will do everything in like steps. Like I told my mom the other day, okay, so far today, shave my legs. Next phase will be middle body. By Friday, I'll wash my hair, and maybe by Saturday, I'll wash my face. So
Mm.
I do it in phases. And I think I like my friends that I talk to on a daily basis, they're like, have you showered? Have you showered? They know. They laugh. And so that's the least of my worries though, because yeah, I'm totally down with the dirty hair look.
The best.
And
You wear it well. Let me ask you this. Last time I saw you in Jersey a couple of years ago, you had a harder time speaking, and I think you were on a cane, and you had a little bit harder time kind of getting around. Is that something? Was that after one of the surgeries, or have you been able to continue to do physical therapy in order to kind of relearn speech and things like that?
I went through vestibular, which is balance, therapy for 3 to 6 months. I should still be going. I have what is very instrumental for people who have balance issues, even just for overall health. It's called the vibration plate. You can order one on Amazon, and it just literally vibrates,
Hmm.
and it helps you with your balance, and it actually helps you with toning your muscles. And I have noticed a deterioration in my muscle mass because I've been so I haven't been active. So that really helps. Um, and then remind me what I told you that.
About the physical therapy that you've been going through from the
Oh
last.
yeah. And then my I have to give a shout out to, I went to visit a neurosurgeon at Mount Sinai, Dr. Betterson. He's amazing. And his physician assistant, Leslie, at Brainy Leslie, she's the one that the Penny from Heaven story is about. She wanted to send me to speech therapy. So I wasn't able to go because their Mount Sinai's in New York and I'm in New Jersey, and it would be, and then right after, pretty much like within a year, it was COVID. And I was working with another doctor on pain issues, but I've been working on my speech. So I hope it's improved.
Yeah.
My balance has definitely improved. You know, I I can walk. I still walk into walls on occasionally, which is funny. I'm like, oh, geez. So, but for the most part, my balance is good. My speech, sometimes when this nerve gets tired, I start to slur or whatnot. But for the most part, I don't think if I told anyone what was going on with me, they would think that besides me knowing that I am crazy, they would think I'm normal.
You're a better actor than me sometimes then. So I mean, that's I think that's probably a little bit of the hard thing, because I feel like you probably have this idea that you have to put it on, and
Yeah.
and so maybe just sitting, when you have a moment of not having pain, it's like you don't want to move an inch.
Yeah.
Don't want to do anything different than just this moment for a while, just to get some sort of break that doesn't seem like it's ever going to come. So my heart goes out to you. I know that we've known each other a long time, and we've been dealing with this for a long time. So your bravery is infectious, and I hope that people can, take this moment, for anybody that has heard you speak, to know that people are dealing with things that we don't always know. And I think that, a little compassion can go a long way. We don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
Times we don't know what their life is like. We don't know what their personal struggles are, and yet we tend to not waste a second judging people sometimes. But choosing compassion for someone else that are making difficult choices day in and day out is, I don't think we can go wrong.
Yeah. Be kind.
Compassion, a little bit more kindness. Yeah.
Yeah. And I so appreciate you for, I know you're busy and I know we talked about this. You've got a life, you have a wife, you have children, you have work. You're a very busy person, and I love that your heart, you've got a big heart. And I thank you for taking the time today to do this and to help me raise awareness. I just want to do a quick, I want to just say I have some things that I want to give a shout out to my family, my close girlfriends. I call them my squad: Kim, Kathy, Gina, Missy, and Tara. I already gave a shout out to Leslie Schlachter, the physician assistant at Mount Sinai. You can find her at Brainy Leslie. Dr. James Liu, he's Skull Base MD. You don't have to need a neurosurgeon, but he is one badass neurosurgeon. And his stories, he plays early 90s rap. So who can't love a neurosurgeon? And he has been so compassionate to me, and providing some references. And another neurosurgeon, Dr. She's at Dr. _ambidexter. She has been so kind and just unbelievably compassionate. And her kindness is infectious. And just to the chronic pain community, for I know what they're going through. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. And I just thank them for having the courage to share their stories online. And I'm so glad that I found them. And I know, and you can find me at trigeminalneuralgiawarrior.com. Now, I just want to turn this back to you for a second, because I know when you won your Emmy, It was during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to make sure that you got in everything you wanted to say, because if not, now is your time to shine.
I'm good. You know, that felt like a while ago. It's funny. We were kind of speeding through the Oscars when we got home last night, because the kids heard that they were going to perform "We Don't Talk About Bruno." So that was the most important thing last night, and we were talking about what the Oscars are and everything. And so I went and grabbed my Emmy, and he was holding it, and he's like, "Daddy,
Aw.
yours is bigger, Daddy." I'm like, "Yeah, I think it is. I think this probably weighs more than that little one too." So we were talking about that a little bit yesterday, but thank you for bringing that up. You know,
I had to.
moment, but
Thank you so much.
yeah, listen, Michelle, be good. Well, we'll be in contact, of course. We talk all the time, but for anybody else that's out there that feels compelled, they can find you. We'll tag this there, and for anybody that's looking for support, you're there for, and build the community up just in case somebody else is going through something similar to this and they need someone to just kind of listen to or talk to or learn from. That's really the most important thing that we can kind of do. Sometimes we just need to be listeners, you know.
Yeah.
It needs to hear our opinions. Sometimes people need to be heard, and
Yep.
it goes a long way. So continue to be brave.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, of course. Love you. Be good. And
Love you too.
for joining. It's sometimes it's not easy to hear real life stories that people are going through, because we would rather just flip through Instagram and look at the pictures and everything else. But people are going through stuff. So when we have an opportunity to choose time, to choose compassion and kindness, it's a very powerful choice. So,
Yes. Thank you.
all
Talk
right.
soon.
Be good.
You too.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. And now I just got to figure out how to exit out of here. So listen, thank you very much for everyone. I'm gonna post this for Michelle and tag her on this. And for anybody else that's going through anything, my heart goes out to you. Choose love, choose compassion, choose kindness, and you know that it'll go the distance. Be good. Thanks again. Bye-bye.